back. But the Pakistani army is so treacherous that until he is on Indian soil, I will not rejoice, because we haven't seen him yet. Where is he? Bring him over. Then at the very least we will know that at least we have in our hands, and then we can talk about, okay, what do we do next with Pakistan? Let's not have any delusions about let's not have Diwali crackers about how the situation's been resolved and everything's nice and happy now. The Pakistan's jihad in Kashmir is still on. There will be more attacks, and our dealings with Pakistan remain ugly, and they will remain ugly until Pakistan's jihad machinery is broken down and its attempts against India are stopped. So let's have no delusions about peace deals and peace treaties.
Absolutely. We would not have really seen 35 ceasefire violations if it was indeed a peaceful gesture from Pakistan's side. 35 ceasefire violations viewers in just 2 days, and today in the OIC summit, where External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj was invited for the first time, India was invited for the first time, Pakistan's minister refused to go there. So it clearly is exposing the duplicity as well of Pakistan on many fronts. Stay with us, gentlemen. Let me once again try and go back to Tamal and Mohit, who continue to be live with us from the Atari-Wagah border. Tamal, any update that you can share with us? Could you speak to the people around you? What's really happening around right now?
Well, Hina, important point, he's yet to reach India. That's the confirmation I'm receiving. So about 25 minutes back, going by Indian time, about 25 to 30 minutes back, Pakistani authorities had started for Wagah border, and he's yet to reach India. So that's the confirmation which he can break at this point in time. So maybe in another couple of minutes he will be reaching India first, which essentially means the moment of he walking out in that convoy from this integrated checkpost would take a little more time, because once he's being received by the Indian Air Force senior officials, Air Vice Marshal would be receiving him. We know from Army side there are senior officers who have gone. So we have to wait and see how long that receiving procedure takes. It would of course be a welcome of a hero coming back home. Now there are ways of welcoming him. The armed forces would be welcoming him, what we cannot really witness. But then thereafter, the moment of he coming out in that convoy from this gate of integrated checkpost would take little more time. Maybe that is the reason why the entire area has been cordoned off. Maybe that is the reason Army QRT has taken position and has taken position to in a way restrict all movements from this side going inside further into the integrated checkpost. So all movements inside the integrated checkpost seems to have been restricted for the time being, at least through this gate. We have to wait for an official confirmation. Yes, we are waiting for him to first step on Indian soil. That is the most important thing that India is waiting for. He should step on Indian soil. Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman to step on Indian soil, because I'm sure along with the country, along with the family, even he had been waiting equally to put his foot on the Indian soil, because he belongs to this land and he was caught in a situation in Pakistan. So yes, we're all waiting for that moment when he comes inside India. Thereafter there will be some formalities before which he is being taken into the convoy, and the convoy moves out of this integrated checkpost. So yes, as far as security arrangement is concerned, the entire stretch of the road seems to be completely cordoned off. There is no movement whatsoever. In fact, there you see one biker had to make get down from his bike and push it out, because no civilians are allowed to be there at this point in time, because the movement can happen any moment. But as far as he's stepping on the soil of Indian soil, maybe you have to wait for a few more minutes.
Right. Tamal, stay with us. Major General Ashwini Sivach is also joining us live right now. Mr. Arasan Singh also joins us on the broadcast. Major General Ashwini Sivach, in a way, for Wing Commander Abhinandan, there is one more Agni Pariksha, because when he crosses over to the Indian side of the Wagah border, there's going to be a medical test, an emotional test, a debriefing by the IAF.
No, this is a part of the system. You see, what happened is that he has, as you are aware, that he is a hero as far as India is concerned. With his MiG-21, he can shot the F-16, which is a far better aircraft. But as he was in a forward posture, then his aircraft has gone inside the Pakistan and got crashed there, and then he jumped. Since he was in Pakistan custody, he's been released by Pakistan under Geneva Convention. Pakistan has made no favor to India. Point number one. Point number two is that once he has been in Pakistan territory, so this is an automatic thing that, you know, once he comes back, he will be debriefed, or medical will be done. So it's a procedural thing under Geneva Convention. There is nothing new about it, and there is no Agni Pariksha. He is a war hero. It is just a routine thing which has to go through it, and we are proud of him, what he has done for the nation, and the Air Force is proud of him, the armed forces are proud of him, and the nation is proud of him.
We're seeing really the developments coming there any moment now. Really, we expect to see really Wing Commander Abhinandan coming in. Let me quickly go across to Mohit, who's with us. Mohit, take us through what's happening on ground over there. Massive build-up of security. Any moment now, we understand Wing Commander Abhinandan could be stepping on Indian soil.
Well, certainly, Madhav, you know, you've put it right. You know, it seems that the deployment here has been beefed up to the tune that, you know, you see more police officers than people here, so you can try and understand the situation there, that is here. And but despite all odds, you know, despite the fact that the weather has been really chilly today, you see a lot of people also coming in from distant areas. They're standing here for almost 10 hours. You know, you see women, you see men, you see young kids also along with them, and all of them just looking at that gate. You see a new formation of the BSF rather taking place at the moment. You know, I would ask my camera person to point out and show the BSF that has formed once again right in front of the gate. So that also tells you that at any moment now it is expected that Wing Commander Abhinandan may come through those gates. The pilot car you see is already ready. You see you know, the army personnel is also ready here in place, you know, holding guns. The security arrangements has been top notch today. You see, you know, police force, you see the BSF, you see the army, you see the senior officers of the Air Force, all of them supervising one thing, that is the safe return of Wing Commander Abhinandan. And they're trying at the same time, you know, they're trying to ensure that the people here who only want to welcome him are not hindered, or they are also, you know, that the mood somehow, you know, remains the same, and that is something that all these forces collectively have managed to do. Right now, you know, once again, I would like to show you, you know, despite, you know, the weather getting all chilly, despite, you know, the time now being almost more than 5 p.m. right now at the moment, you see a lot of people waiting in line. You see the car up front, you see the car up front there, that is the one that would be taking ahead, and that is essentially the one that would be, you know, sort of signaling all the police officers who've been deployed in this formation that, you know, Wing Commander Abhinandan has actually arrived. So that is essentially that has been the formation, I beg your pardon, since then. A lot of cars here, a lot of BSF personnel also waiting here at the moment. But, you know, despite all odds and despite the spectacle of sorts that Pakistan tried to pull off today, it seems that too has been foiled by the Indian government. The Pakistani government had actually decided to hand over Wing Commander Abhinandan during the beating retreat. We were the first channel to come out and tell you that the beating retreat itself has been cancelled today due to the sheer fact that India wanted its son back without any spectacle, and that is something that India has managed to do. They have managed to secure its son safely. But right now,
as you rightly put it, the administration leaving no stone unturned from the administration to, in fact, the police and security forces over there. Before I go across to Tamal, let's listen into the celebration that is coming in live from the Atari-Wagah border. All right, let me go across to Tamal, who's also with us. Tamal, the kind of enthusiasm amongst the people, they've not been really allowed inside the ringside view that they would normally have, but despite that, the kind of excitement, the kind of fervor that we're seeing on ground is completely unmissable. The people are standing there braving the cold, and very clearly they want to see that this brave son of India, who in the face of adversity has shown his valor, is returned back to India. Well, Madhav, you ask anyone what is the sound of Punjab, and even a child would say it's a sound of dhol, it's a sound of drums, and it's the same sound which has filled in the air here at the Wagah border gate or Wagah border area since morning. People haven't stopped playing those drums, beating those dhols, because they believe this quintessential sound of Punjab should also be there along with their love, along with their affection, along with their gratitude when Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman arrives on the soil of India. Yes, the people have been here waiting since morning. They have refused to go back. Many people walked up to us, journalists, asking when would he come, do we have any updates or not. Even without an availability of a TV set around, people have been watching Times Now and other channels on their mobile phones to stay abreast as far as movement of Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman is concerned. I clearly remember as how so many people were disappointed knowing that somebody had filed a writ petition in Islamabad High Court seeking a stay on the Pakistani government's decision to repatriate Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman. In fact, we broke the news that petition has been dismissed. People were extremely euphoric and once again breaking into celebration. Before I toss it back to you, Madhav, just to give you a sense behind me, the scene possibly hasn't changed much in the past couple of minutes, but as I informed Hina also in the previous broadcast, he is yet to arrive on the soil of India. The moment he arrives, we will get to know. We will be breaking it first here on Times Now, but then he hasn't reached on the Indian soil. Yes, and that's the moment that we're all waiting for, Tamal. We expect you and Mo to continue reporting on that. We will keep tracking every development as you reported, Mohit and Tamal. For the moment, we have to take a very quick break. Request our reporters and our guests to stay on with us. We're going to be tracking all the developments of Wing Commander Abhinandan's return to India. Welcome back. Any moment now we expect to see Wing Commander Abhinandan stepping on Indian soil. A massive security deployment there at the Atari-Wagah border, where in fact we expect to see Wing Commander Abhinandan formally being handed over to Indian authorities. Top brass and senior officers of the Indian Air Force too present at this moment, as are of course hundreds of citizens who have come there in anticipation, really of course to pay their respects and also welcome Wing Commander Abhinandan back to India. Let me go across to Tamal Sahu, who's joining us. Tamal, any update on what's happening on ground? Well, Madhav, just before you, somebody standing right next to me also asked the same question. Any update whether he has arrived on the Indian soil? Well, to everyone's disappointment, maybe the wait has to linger for a couple of more minutes. We know the Indian contingent comprising of Indian Air Force senior officials, including Air Vice Marshals, 2 Air Vice Marshals, and also Army convoy entering with senior officials, indicative too that Army too would be there as part of the contingent to welcome. We have just picking up from our from Srinjoy, my colleague, that Air Vice Marshal R.G. Kapoor to make the welcome statement. Along with that, Air Vice Marshal R.G. Kapoor would also be giving that welcome statement. So possibly that welcome statement would be happening right there inside as and when he arrives. So that is part of the Air Force protocol, and they would be going by that. Soon after that, the convoy would be coming out from this very gate, which you see written over there, welcome to integrated checkpost. You see the QRT which has taken the position. The entire stretch of this road has been cordoned off, no movement of civilians at this point in time. So yes, the convoy would be leaving through that very gate. We are all waiting for that moment. When that moment arrives, we are given to understand that Pakistani authorities have started for Wagah almost 45 minutes back. So yes, the moment for him to reach Wagah, it could be any moment now, and the anticipation which had been building since morning has not really died down, has not really fizzled out. In fact, people are equally excited. As we speak, the drums come alive once again. People are, waving the Indian flags because they know even if in person they cannot go and say a hi or meet Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman or hug him and say a thank you, but they know by waving the Indian flags they would mark their presence felt as a country united united today to welcome him, to in a way stand by him and acknowledge his bravery with which he has faced Pakistani army, with which he has countered them, with which he has taken down the F-16, and now he is coming back to the soil of India.
Stay with us at the moment, Tamal. We will come back to you as and when there are further developments. Yes, there are of course celebrations spontaneously breaking out across India. Those are pictures in fact coming in from Bengaluru as well, where in fact we are seeing citizens coming out and distributing sweets there to that policeman, feeding him sweets very clearly. Of course, the return of Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartman is something that is being seen with festive fervor, spontaneous celebrations breaking out in various parts of the country, and understandably so. Let me quickly take this question across to our guests who are joining us. I want to go across to Colonel Arsan Singh, who's with us. Colonel Arsan Singh, just look at the kind of festive atmosphere. This is the feeling amongst all Indians. This is a moment that will be remembered for many years to come as a moment where a brave son of India displayed his valor and in fact was brought back on Indian soil.
Madhav, this celebration, excitement and show of support has a very important role towards public mobilization. And when there is this kind of a public mobilization, it becomes relatively easy for the political leadership to take hard decisions in times of crisis. And that is what has paid, and that is how he is coming back to us. Now remember, if there was a similar kind, if there were similar kind of public mobilization when Rubaiya was kidnapped or when IC-814 was hijacked, probably the course of jihadi proxy war would have taken a different trajectory. So therefore, I mean, I feel so small. I mean, people coming all the way from Rajasthan.
Yes.
Unknown people. They are not doing it for money. They are not doing it for name. They are not doing it for fame. Now, elderly person coming all the way from Rajasthan to just, I mean, look at his patriotic sense.
Absolutely.
And I feel so small. I'm telling you, I feel so small.
Yes, it's certainly very humbling, sir.
When I compare myself with, yes, I really feel very humble. I mean, these are the people who actually keep the soul of the nation intact.
Right.
If I may say so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Colonel Arsan Singh, certainly a very, very emotive moment for citizens of India. I want to quickly cut across live to Mohit, who has been reporting all day from the Wagah border. Mohit, you had broken the story about how the beating retreat ceremony, and befittingly so, given the fact that today's priority is to ensure Abhinandan's safe return back to India, had been cancelled there at the Atari Wagah border. What are you picking up at this moment? How much longer could it perhaps take before Abhinandan steps on Indian soil again?
Well, to be honest, we were given to understand that after 4 would be the time when Wing Commander Abhinandan comes out. And you rightly pointed out, ever since the news of Wing Commander Abhinandan came out, it seems that Pakistan wanted to make a spectacle out of it, and that was precisely the reason why they delayed this entire handing over of Wing Commander Abhinandan. We've seen since morning, while the procedure was initially stated to begin at around 12 p.m., it was delayed continuously. After a point we were given to understand from our sources that it would go until about 4 p.m. and that Pakistani government was trying to deliberately trying to delay it further, trying to ensure that they make a spectacle out of all this. However, the Indian government refused, and that was primarily the reason why the beating retreat itself from the Indian side was completely cancelled. And although you have still visitors here, all of them trying to still catch a glimpse of one glimpse of Wing Commander Abhinandan. They have not gone anywhere since they were asked to vacate the Wagah border, essentially the area where the parade actually takes place. They've been standing here despite no food and water available to them, because most of the kiosks were also asked to be shut due to safety reasons, safety and security reasons. So they've been standing here, and these are young people, these are people in school, these are elderly, these are the young ones, and as well children who are standing here in line trying to catch a glimpse. So that shows you that, despite the odds, despite the fact that the Pakistani government also wanted to play a lot of politics around this huge movement, the Indian government has foiled that attempt. And secondly, that the Indian people continue to support Wing Commander Abhinandan.
Well, absolutely. The Indian citizens are completely and very firmly supporting Wing Commander Abhinandan, and it's quite clear given the fact that there are spontaneous celebrations that appear to be taking place across the entire country, the length and breadth of the country. Mohit, you and Tamal continue to track all the developments on the story. I want to get in a quick comment from political analyst Vishal Sharma, who's also joining us live at this moment. Vishal Sharma, just look at the kind of impact that this event has had on the citizens of India. We are seeing spontaneous celebrations. There's a festive atmosphere, as our reporters have been telling us, at the Atari-Wagah border itself. Citizens there in large numbers from different states, only there to witness this moment when Wing Commander Abhinandan is brought back to India.
No, you're absolutely correct. And let me start by saying, Jai Shri Ram, Sat Shri Akal and Salam Alaikum to all the Indians who are celebrating today the return of Wing Commander Abhinandan. But we need to ask certain pertinent questions. One of the fact that perhaps this is the Wing Commander Abhinandan has created a world record. Perhaps this is the world's first kill of an F-16 by a MiG-21 Bison aircraft. The MiG-21 is a third-generation aircraft, whereas the F-16 is a fourth-generation aircraft. And killing an F-16 just shows how well-trained our Air Force pilots are, and how well-trained are their maneuvers, and Pakistan had to take a retreat. The second point I would like to say is that...
All right, Yes, Mr. Vishal Sharma, I want to quickly go right back to my colleague Tamal, who is also with us. Tamal, take us through what's happening around you. You were telling us about the large number of citizens there, and of course how the celebratory drums have been brought out as far as the citizens themselves are concerned. What's happening around you at the moment?
Well, Madhav, we just saw one huge table being brought out, and they are doing some setup. Security people are trying to do a setup right outside on that road that is giving us a sense there could be a press conference. We have not been confirmed whether there would be a press conference or not. If yes, who would be doing it? Whether Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman would be there present in a press conference if it happens. But then we just saw one huge table being brought out from the other side of this integrated checkpost.
Tamal, in fact, we had reported a short while earlier that the Air Vice Marshal will be briefing the media. We had, in fact, put out that information just a short while ago. But take us through the kind of preparations that are being made for that briefing. Tamal, go ahead.
Well, that's right. So, Madhav, at this point in time, people are all waiting here. They have not really left, as I told you previously. Since morning, they are all here. They want to be here. They want to see that moment. They want to see Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman from as closely as possible. They do not really care about the proximity because they know it might not be humanly possible for Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman to in a way, entertain so many people who have assembled here. And I'm saying thousands and thousands of people, not one or two. So many people have come down here, and all these people who have assembled here, they have one idea in mind, one expectation in mind, that Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman, when he comes out, they get to see him in person, making the moment very personal, to cherish all through their life, because they know Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman belongs just to one family, belongs to the entire nation, and the same nation we are all part of. So yes, to ensure a hero's welcome is felt by him when he steps on Indian soil. The sounds of the dhol, the sounds of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Vande Mataram, chanted by all these people who have assembled here, reverberating here, should also be reverberating inside on the other side of this integrated checkpost, so that he gets to know how much people acknowledge his contribution, how much people acknowledge his brevity, how much people have been waiting for him to come back, even though it had been those 48 hours of anguish that the nation along with the family had lived when we had were absolutely no certainty whether he would be let off or not, even though he knew the Geneva Convention makes it binding on Pakistan to let him come to India, to let him repatriated with India, because the Geneva Convention, according to the Article 3 of 1949 Geneva Convention Act and the Protocol 2, makes it binding on a nation to ensure any military person who has been arrested by another country is being treated properly and given all the due rights. In fact, a violation of that was pointed out by India when Pakistan released or leaked, we do not know whether deliberately or not, but many would suspect a concerted attempt to script a propaganda narrative so that they come across as a humanitarian country. But those videos which also show Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman bruised, battered and bleeding from his face is one of these videos many would find absolutely inhuman for someone to tie his tie a blindfold around his eyes so that he cannot see, and tie his hands. Sorry, those descriptions could be very graphic, but then that was circulated. India had taken strong reservation. India had taken a reservation to an extent. All those videos were pulled out from social networking sites because it's a family who had been waiting for him. It's a nation who has been waiting for him, and anyone seeing those visuals would have a chill in the spine. So yes, to spare those moments to our nation and the family, that decision was taken by the government. At the same time, it was highlighted with Pakistan that if they were so mindful about human rights, if they were so mindful about the rights enshrined in the treaty, that is the Geneva Convention, these video footages shouldn't have been leaked at the first place, highlighting that India had registered its reservation. So on the ground, yes, people are waiting for Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman to step out. We are waiting for a confirmation that would finally clarify.
Yes, stay with us, Tamal. Let me quickly bring in Pradeep on this as well. Pradeep, look at the kind of outpouring of emotion as far as our citizens are concerned. They're all there to greet Abhinandan on his return, and it's not just at the Atari Wagah border. This is the scene, this is the celebration, the spontaneous celebrations that we're seeing, the festive atmosphere that we're seeing in various parts of the country. Pradeep.
Madhav, this is a historic moment. Each and every Indian is today celebrating the return of Wing Commander Abhinandan. This man has become overnight heartthrob for millions of Indians back home. The way he conducted himself inside enemy captivity, even under difficult circumstances and adverse situations, he didn't crumble. He is an example of courage and valor, and that is one of the reasons that without proper food and water, thousands of people are right now standing at Atari Wagah border to have a glimpse of this man, a national hero. It is a celebration time. In fact, India's muscular military policy and proactive diplomatic approach has really worked, and that has made Imran Khan to surrender before India. And finally, he had no other option but to release Wing Commander Abhinandan. It has less to do with the courtesy, but it was more of a compulsion because he has to adhere to, in fact, Geneva Convention, what Tamal was also talking about. Without that, it would not have been possible. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for him to save his face. And right now you can see everybody is chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai slogan, Vande Mataram, beating drums, holding flowers in their hands, Tiranga they are waving, and they are waiting for their national hero to come out because he has set an example. An example is right now